Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is the first Sunday in the new year 2017. It's a pleasure to see all of you all. Thank God for a brand new year. Thank God I still have my poetry show, the Anthony Taylor Poetry Show. This is the Anthony Taylor Poetry Show, episode number 66. Episode number 66. Time is moving. I'm getting up in age. This is a special Anthony Taylor Poetry Show because I'm going to make a special tribute to one of the greatest poets of all time. He's African American, just like me, Langston Hughes. I was given this book as a Christmas gift by one of my co-workers at the VA hospital. I'm so thrilled and happy with it. It's a big book, a collection of all of the poems that were written by Langston Hughes. It's almost like a Bible. But of course, we know this is not the Holy Bible. That was written by our Almighty God and handed down to various writers. This is a Bible, you can say, pertaining to Langston Hughes poetry, the collected poems on Langston Hughes. As a special tribute, couple weeks before Black History Month, I'm gonna read a couple of his poems, and I hope you enjoy this special Anthony Taylor Poetry Show, episode number 66, and next week we should have our regular show. The first poem is entitled New Moon. There's a young moon riding the hills tonight. There's a sprightly young moon exploring the clouds. There's a half-shy young moon veiling her face like a virgin, waiting for a lover. The next poem is entitled Gods. And now remember, all these poems are written by Langston Hughes, taken from his book. The ivory gods and the ebony gods and the gods of diamond and jade sit silently on their temple shelves while the people are afraid. Yet the ivory gods and the ebony gods and the gods of diamond and jade are only silly puppet gods that the people themselves have made. The next poem is entitled Judgment Day. They put my body in the ground. My soul went flying o'er the town. Went flying to the stars and moon, a shouting, God is coming soon. Oh Jesus, Lord in heaven, crown on his head, says don't be afraid, 'cause you ain't dead, kind Jesus. And now I'm setting clean and bright in the sweet old my Lord's sight. Clean and bright, clean and bright. The next title of the poem is called Dusk. Wandering in the dusk. Sometimes you get lost in the dusk, and sometimes not. Beating your fists against the wall, you break your bones against the wall, but sometimes not. Walls have been known to fall, dust turn to dawn, and chains be gone. The title of this poem is called Night Song. In the dark, before the tall moon came, little short Dust was walking along. In the dark, before the tall moon came, little short Dust was singing a song. In the dark, before the tall moon came, a lady named Day fainted away in the dark. And that is entitled Night Song. We have two more poems that we're going to read that Langston Hughes wrote. And that will be the end of this special Anthony Taylor Poetry Show. And a salute to the poet Langston Hughes. This poem is called Final Call. Send for the pipe piper and let him pipe the rats away. Send for Robin Hood to clinch the anti-poverty campaign. Send for the fairy queen with a wave of the wand to make us all into princes and princesses. Send for King Arthur to bring the Holy Grail. Send for the old man Moses to lay down the law. Send for Jesus to preach the Sermon on the Mount. Send for Dreyfus to cry, I accuse. Send for a dead blind lemon to sing the B-flat blues. Send for Robespierre to scream, sigh Ira, sigh Ira, sigh Ira. Send, good forbid he's not dead long enough for Lumina to cry freedom now. Send for Lafayette and tell him, help, help, help me. Send for Denmark Vesey crying free. For Sincray saying, run a new flag up the mast. For old John Brown, who knew slavery couldn't last. Send for Lenin, don't you dare, he can't come here. Send for Trotsky, what? Don't confuse the issue, please. Send for Uncle Tom on his mighty knees. Send for Lincoln, send for Grant. Send for Frederick Douglass, Garrison, Bishop, Lowell. Send for Harriet Tubman, old Sojourner Truth. Send for Marcus Garvey, what? Sufi who? Father Divine, where? Du Bois, when? Malcolm, oh. Send for Stokely, no. Then send for Adam Powell on a non-subpoena day. Send for the Pied Piper to pipe our rats away. And if nobody comes, send for me. And the last poem of the show is called The Blues. Don't I know anything about the blues? The blues. When the shoestrings break on both your shoes and you're in a hurry, that's the blues. When you go to buy a candy bar and you lose the dime you had, slip through a hole in your pocket somewhere, that's the blues. That's the blues too, and bad. I'm going to read another poem. This will be the last official poem. This is such a good book. I love it. This is called Silly Animals. The dog ran down the street. The cat ran up the drain. The mouse looked out and said, there they go again. Silly animals. That concludes the reading of the special selected poems of the Langston Hughes for the first Sunday of the New Year, 2017, January 8th. I hope to see you soon on the next Anthony Taylor Poetry Show. You have a good evening and a lovely day.